Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Chantele. And we're here to talk to you about Survivor South Africa, episode 15. Oh
This
my
is
God. We've done it.
almost it. What's the name? Is it
Penultimate?
penultimate? Yeah,
I wanted to say that, but I'm always like, am I saying it right?
I don't know.
Penultimate?
I would say it wrong for sure. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Thank you. Appreciate it. Chantele, chat, hello. This episode, it went like this, and then it went like this, and then we then went that way, and we're back.
It was a little bit, it didn't go the way that I thought it was going at all. And I got a little bit like, I got scared at the end because I was like, wait, is this going to happen this way? Wait, what's happening? Wait, I got nervous.
But, yeah. Well, let's talk about it here. At the top of episode 15, we have basically a bunch of hungry, tired people coming back from tribal, and they're just going to go to sleep, except for Chappies.
I mean, there's no rest for the wicked. Isn't that what the saying is? And, you know, he says it later on in the episode. Like, he's coming here to win. Like, he's doing everything that he can to fuel his body to make himself win. And at this point, he's making me respect him for doing it because people have called him out. He still does it. I'm like, man, that's bold. People are calling you out, and you're still like, but I'm just gonna do whatever I want to do.
But don't you think he got a little boost because Nico, that previous tribal, Nico really was kind of like, what a great thing. Right? Look, he's winning. Look. So I feel like Chappies came back to camp with that vibe of like, well,
the host thinks I'm awesome.
Feels like this is a good thing I'm doing. And like, I think it was Nicole who said, I guess we should forage. And then she like curled up in bed and he was like, yeah, I'll go forage.
For me.
For him. And at this point I was like, yeah, I guess so. I guess you don't have to feed the camp. I don't know.
I guess though, they haven't really been playing with him. Like, I don't think that he'd be running off necessarily and hiding if it was him and Nesu that was there. You know what I mean? He'd be like,
right, or Santini, yeah.
Together. So, you know what I mean? Like people that he's been working with, people that like him, enjoy his company. So I think that it's just because, yes, Nicole and Anela have voted with him this particular round, but like, they're not on his side. They don't want to see him do well. They will turn on him if he doesn't have the necklace around his neck. So why is he trying to boost them up and give them some extra energy when they don't even want him in the game? So
right.
I kind of mind it.
And they are openly saying we're basically not going to forage. So it's kind of like, all right. I mean, there's not a ton of people at camp anyway. So everyone for themselves, I guess, at this point. The next day, we do see this like, all of the sudden, did production drop coconuts on the beach? Like, where did this come from?
Maybe like they're like, we're starving. We have half a cup of rice to last us for 6 days, and all of a sudden it's raining coconuts. Like it's Magnolia and raining frogs.
All of a sudden, production was like, look, there's a sugar cane and coconuts on the beach. Well, so Chappie's finds a ton. And of course, he's going to hoard them. He's going to dig, bury them in the sand. He's not going to share them, which I thought at this point, I was like, 10, really? You're not going to share 10? But he's shared one. And then Nicole's like, I found a coconut. And of course, she's sharing. So the camp does have a little bit of coconut here together. But the game we see is Anela basically saying the same thing to Tyson as he is to Chappies and Nicole.
And this is the thing. I don't know if I've missed it, but Anela says that he is the master of deception later on in this episode. And is he the master of deception, or is he just I think he's a bad liar. Like or just like a flip. Like I don't think that he's a master of deception because he hasn't come out unscathed. Like it's kind of like, oh yeah, okay, you did that this time? Okay, fine, you lied. Fine, okay, I get it. But it's like, it's not deceiving anybody, really. I don't think.
And they've been calling him a flopper since day 15. I don't know, for a while. So who was deceived? No one fell for it. So I
It's like
can't.
they hope that he's being truthful, but they're just like, we don't know for sure what he's actually going to do.
We don't
But
know. Yeah.
we'll take his word for now. But who knows? So
Yes.
I think he's a little bit
Thank you, Shafika.
delusional.
He's the master of deceiving himself. Accurate. Because he said a few things in this episode that I was like, really?
Master of deception. Okay. I mean, it's great to know your worth and your value and try to pump yourself up. But I thought that one was incorrect. And I was just a little bit annoyed, though, that he was doing that to both Chappies and Tyson, like giving them both kind of false hope. But it's also like we knew that he would be doing that anyways. Whoever doesn't win immunity out of the two of them, they were going to be voting out. And 100%, no matter what, I didn't think that if Chappies didn't have a necklace around his neck, that Anella would be siding with Tyson. So
yeah, no, I thought it makes sense at this point. He doesn't know what's going to happen with immunity. He's got to do his master of deceiving. aka flip-flopping, aka just like playing all the sides. And I think that that's what you just got to do at this position, sure, now. But we're going to go to an immunity challenge. They are all under the impression that it will be a final 3, and therefore this is the last immunity challenge. And boy, it's a doozy.
That was hard.
My gosh. The back and forth, the up and down, the all around that they have to do used up so many calories, such endurance for this.
Yeah.
Like, yikes. This was a hard one.
It was definitely hard, but I like it. I like having multiple elements that you can be good at one and maybe not good at the other. Like, it's not just like, okay, you're not a good swimmer, you're not going to be good at this challenge. It's not that. It's like, okay, you're able to climb, so you're able to jump down, you're able to untie knots. Like we see that Nicole is pretty good at untying knots. And so she was out in the lead in the beginning, and she was doing quite well for a lot of the challenge, but she got kind of hung up on, the monkey's paw. She wasn't good at that. And so I do like that there was different elements within it. So you weren't going to be losing 100% if you were bad at the event.
So true. It was just like, are you able to run up the stairs, then run back out, then jump back down, then pull yourself back up? It's just really going to take a lot out of you. But unfortunately, like you said, Nicole starts in a lead, but once they all start throwing to that monkey's paw, foot, whatever thing it is, she had another like jumping for the key moment where she is just trying and trying and trying over and over again. Chappies gets it on the very first throw. Oh my gosh.
I mean, obviously I'm Team Chappies, but I felt, I feel bad though for, like, I know Tyson really wants to be there and like I know he deserves to be there. I don't feel the same way for Anella, but it is a little bit demoralizing having somebody consistently do better than you in these challenges. Yeah. And like I could just feel the energy of those other two guys when like Chappie gets it and he's off running and they're just trying and it's like, oh, and like just not being able to get it right away. So I felt bad for the two guys in that moment. And Nicole, obviously, for sure, but I didn't think that she was going to be able to catch up if she could.
Yeah, no, I was feeling so bad for Nicole at that point. Now, the puzzle at the end of this is really large.
So big.
And so even when it's taking Anella and Tyson much longer than Chappies to get through that monkey toss section, it took Anella a really long time. He was the third to get done with that. But this puzzle was somewhat of an equalizer. The three of them are working on it for a while before Nicole finally, gets her toss and starts heading that way. But the puzzle really was close. Tyson actually stopped and watched and cheered Anella on. And Anella just had 2 more pieces maybe to do.
Yeah,
when
basically
Chappies finished up.
I think though that Chappies took his foot off the gas a little bit. Like when he saw that the two guys were still just throwing the monkey's paw, he just started walking up the ramp or whatever. I don't know, it was the climbing ladder, whatever it was. And then he didn't have the same sense of urgency when he started the puzzle. And so I think that's why Anella had the chance to catch up, because Anella was just fast the whole time and Chappies was just a little bit more chill, catching his breath. So I think that he probably realized like, ooh, I can't let the foot off the gas here at all, because this is, I could have lost this very easily if I had been any slower.
Yeah. And then here we are. They're all like, wow, 5 wins in a row, Chappies. Wow. I mean, Nico is saying impressive, historic for this franchise. And I like to hear Tyson and Anella and Nicole say all the respect. It's a pleasure to compete against one of the best. Because like you just said, driving them crazy.
Because those guys like winning stuff for sure.
Yes, and they're like, oh my god, I can't win. He beats me every time. It is just like boiling inside of them. So it is really nice that they're able to give him the respect, in the moment.
And what's really interesting is I'm not usually a fan of the comp beasts. Like, I didn't like the Mike Holloway, keep winning. I don't usually like that, but I think it's because he really has been in danger. But he was playing a pretty decent game before he was in such hot water. And so maybe that's why I like it a little bit better, or it doesn't bother me. But I'm happy for him to win, because I know that he will be out for sure if he didn't.
Yeah, I mean, he really was the underdog who then just went on a winning streak. And so you're like, yeah, wow, good for you. But, I see both sides. I see how frustrating that would be to play with that. But let's also mention with this immunity challenge here, the winner, Chappies, also gets a reward. Turns out this is a really good reward.
Really good reward. It's really good. And then it even gets even better after that. And then even better. It was very, very, very luxurious.
So he gets to privately write down the jury member that he would like to have breakfast with, brought to you by
Future Life.
Something Future Life. I was like, New Life? I don't remember. And they all go, ooh, yeah.
I mean, it's made me want to try it though. I kind of want to be like, do they have it on Amazon, or can I get it on eBay? I want to try
sounds great. Stuff. Yeah, how do I live a better life? This is great. I would like it. So they're going to have breakfast together. Now, since he wrote it down privately, who was your guess?
There is nobody else other than Anesu. But the reason why I would be choosing Anesu if I were him, she would have a pretty good perspective of how people are thinking. She's, I would say, strategically the smartest person that I can really think of, in her or Kieran, in this game. I think that they were aligned, so she would give him honest feedback and honest, there wouldn't be any she just saying that so that I would lose, or giving me false information. So I think that 100% that Anesu was the perfect person to give him the most amount of information that would be usable. So that's who I thought he should pick.
Agreed. My first thought was Santini, though. I was like, is he going to pick Santini? Oh, no, he should pick Anesu. I mean, he and Santini would have had a fun talk, but Anesu is, she's the center of that jury. Her social game is fantastic. And so she is obviously going to know how everyone is thinking, what the group discussions have been. So we agree, Chappies, you were wise and chose Anesu there.
And also with choosing Anesu, with the information that he gave her, we didn't see their whole conversation, but I'm sure he explained a few things about his game or whatnot that she can take back. I don't know if if it's a secret that she went on this,
from her side.
Yeah, I don't know if the rest of the jurors know that she was chosen for this, but if they, regardless of if they are, they aren't, she can push his agenda a little bit, being well, he's been able to do this, and this. She could definitely be a really powerful cheerleader for him in the game.
Yeah, exactly. Well, before he gets to go on this reward, he is going to be so thrilled with this immunity win and confident in a final 3 format that he digs up his 10 coconuts and his...
I think it was 12 in the end, wasn't it?
12 coconuts and his bushel of sugar cane. And he like trudges it into camp and he's like, guess what, guys?
There you go.
Here's my order that I had over
Tyson's
here.
face? Tyson was like he didn't want to, like he was shocked by it, but he didn't want to give too much of a reaction. It was funny. I rewound it.
They were like, you had this? This is, when did you get this? And you didn't share it till now? Okay. It was just a lot of little passive aggressive little pokes and just a lot of, he's like, yeah, I didn't. I found them and I didn't share it.
Why did
now
you find
can
them?
have them
this morning?
Okay, well, now he gets to go sit down with Anesu for the reward. And we get to watch Chappies eat, which is part of why he's so entertaining. I don't know.
Like, because it doesn't look great.
Like,
I'm sorry, Future Life. But like,
well, yeah, I don't even know what he's eating.
Like oatmeal,
like yogurt. I don't. Hummus.
I'm allergic to yogurt,
sure.
so I'm like so.
I was not sure what he was eating, but he was loving it, and I bet Future Life was loving it as well. I think the tidbits that he really took away was when Anesu was kind of breaking down, you sit next to Nicole, you win. You sit next to Nella, you're probably still going to win. You're going to get these votes. You sit next to Tyson, like, you're not getting Warda's vote. Kieran would be torn, maybe. I mean, I was surprised that she had said Kieran was willing to vote for him just in general.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that Kieran is a game recognizes game.
Yeah.
And so I think that because when Kieran, well, we'll talk about it in a moment, but when he comes into tribal council, like he is ecstatic to be there. Like he loves the game. He loves being part of the game. I'm sure he loves being part of the jury. He'll take the jury seriously. And I don't think that what Chappies has done, other than the food stealing stuff, I don't think anything he doesn't respect in his game, other than other than that, of course. So I think that he would still. I could see him getting Kieran's vote for sure. But Warda's against Tyson, never. Warda's against Anella's, maybe. Warda's against Nicole's, I don't know. So yeah, Warda, not good.
Now, did it sound like, because she kind of said like Nicole's not getting any votes. But then she was counting votes for Nella, and I was like, aren't they equal, basically?
Maybe
what does a Nella get that Nicole doesn't get?
Like against Chappies?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I guess maybe. So who's in the jury? So there's Marisha that's in the jury. So I think she would give Nicole a vote.
I guess because the ladies had a group thing that the men didn't. But they were on that other tribe. Sorry, It's been so long. I don't remember names. But they were of that tribe that got decimated. So
original Zamba, yeah.
They could have any of those votes.
I would think so. Unless things have changed on the jury since, that we don't get privy to any jury chats or information.
So if it's just one of them up there, I feel like they'd get basically the same votes. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
5 votes probably.
We'll
if that's
see.
The case, you'd think.
I don't think they're getting it all. I think that they're gonna, especially sitting next to Chappies, who's now in the history books.
But we don't know this.
But we don't. We don't. Oh my God, let's get to it. Okay. So this is when, before he leaves reward, though, this is when he gets the extra advantage here, where he reads that he gets to remove a jury member.
That's wild.
Their vote's not going to count. It is woo.
I mean, it's great for the person that's playing that could potentially win. Like, it's a huge, huge advantage. But I would be heartbroken if I was like on this game that I love, and being part of the jury is part of the game. And if you're not going to win the jury and to be removed from that, I'd be heartbroken.
I'd be livid. I would not ever let that go for the rest of my life. That is, taking that away from someone is huge. That's huge.
Yeah, they're not going to be
But
friends with this person ever.
once again, as soon as I hear this, I'm like, well, I know who that's going to be.
Me too. I was like, I can't
There's
really think of anybody else that is going to lose that vote.
that is a one choice, the no one else. Well, we're gonna get back to camp here. We basically see like Anella is going with the winning side. He and Nicole agree that they will vote out Tyson. And Tyson, thank you, Tyson, does not just sit down and wait for his fate. He waltzes up to Chappie's, even though you know he didn't want to, and he gives a pitch on why Anella should go.
It's a good pitch. It's a very good pitch. I was like, do you know what? Honestly, Tyson, if you had just been making these pitches in the background and just talking game with Chappies like for the last week or so, like not saying that you were working with him, but like just having these conversations, it wouldn't just be coming out of the blue when your ass is on the line. So I just like I thought it was very strong, and it was just too late. It was at the 11th hour when you're desperate that you decide to put your tail between your legs and go and grovel a little bit, but he should have been like subtle groveling for a little while up until then so that it wouldn't be coming completely out of the blue. So sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm agreeing because, yeah, he's making good points. Anella is a good talker. Okay, sure. Anella is a good talker. You don't want to sit with him in the final.
Council.
He overcame the 6-2 minority
That I
thing.
think
Like,
is really impressive, though.
that's a
I was
selling
like,
point.
That's a good point.
If Anella is a good talker and can make that sound like a huge thing he overcame, yeah. But this is why a social game is so important, is because had he and Kieran not isolated themselves so much of like, we are a power couple, we are taking you guys out, we don't want to work with you, then, you know, I mean, like, what, Chappies is going to listen to you? You have
like,
refused to talk to him for weeks.
Absolutely. So it's kind of like they knew that they had power and they had the numbers that they didn't care about him. And they should have started to care about him for at least maybe being on the jury, like at least want his jury vote. But for just in case you're in this situation where you need him to want to work with you or willing to help you out in a situation. So as much as I think that they both played, like Kieran and Tyson played a really good game up until I can't remember where we decided that point was. Yeah. But I think that that's something that they also missed in their game, was keeping everybody a little bit happier with them and wanted to just even have conversations with them. Like, you don't have to even be strategizing, but just be talking or walking on the beach. Yeah. Or how are you feeling today? A little bit.
Right. Ooh. Just have some sort of relationship with them. It's unfortunately, I guess, to some people, unfortunately, it's important. So yeah, I appreciated the fight. I was glad to see it. I was really bummed I didn't see it from Kieran, and I'm assuming it was cut out of the edit because I have to imagine he did it. But I was very glad to see it here from Tyson, whether it was gonna work or not. But you know what? We got a curveball coming at us in this tribal here. Or at least in curveball to Chappies, because Nico is going to spell out that there's another immunity challenge, y'alls. You're going to a final too.
I was like, I was trying to figure out what he was actually talking about, because I'm like, why is he telling them this now before they vote? Right? I'm like, are they going to be doing it now? Like I'm like, no, but they have to vote. If he has a necklace on, he has to vote. And so what I didn't understand, though, about the timing of everything, I mean, I'm assuming that they wanted discussions to be happening on, like, maybe change the vote, this and that, like, you know, that's new information. So maybe you want to take somebody else with you to the final three so you can have whatever better shot at winning. But then Nico makes Chappies take away the jurors' vote when it could not matter. It's possible that it doesn't matter because Chappies might not even be there. So I was just kind of thought that was a little bit weird that he has that advantage that he might not even benefit from.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I didn't even put that together. So I guess the advantage is if you think you're going to the end, if you can get to the end, whose vote do you want to take away? And yeah, Chappies might not be safe and he might sit in the jury and it didn't matter. And poor Warda, spoiler, Warda, she doesn't get to cast a vote, period. Doesn't matter. I didn't even think about that. But I did find it interesting that Chappies is like, wait, hold up. This makes me think differently. And I thought, oh, wait, yes, it does. Because obviously Tyson, yeah, you don't want to sit next to Tyson at the end. I agree. I don't care you can sit next to Anella. No big deal. But Anella has come in second, so close to Chappies these last couple. And then Chappies just fed Anella a bunch of coconut and sugarcane. So I loved seeing Chappies be like, oh, then I need to change direction. I need to take Anella out here because I'm worried I won't win the next comp.
Absolutely. I thought it was really like very, very smart of him to try to change that up. I was like, okay, so they're going to fire. They got the Final Four challenge, the Final Four fire that the America really loves, which I can't stand. But I'm like, it's going to be 2-2. I'm like, that's what's going to happen. Like it right? And I was expecting it to go to fire.
Okay, that's interesting. First, though, let me say thank you for the super chat, K Diggs. This season will be horrible if Anella and Nicole are final 2. Well, it'll be interesting, that's for sure.
Oh boy,
that is one way it could go, for sure.
Oh man,
it's
possible.
What an ending that would be.
Okay, what if though? Because we did hear the soundbite from Anella this episode where he says, I have everything else. Like I've done everything else in this game except for the competition wins. And so I was thinking that was just relating to that particular, what I thought was the final immunity.
Right.
But what if that is just foreshadowing for him to win the actual final immunity, which means that he could get the win? I just got goosebumps, and I think that might be true then. Oh.
Okay, let's hold up.
I can't have this happen in my 2 worlds right now. I can't.
I know, it's tough. This is tough timing with Big Brother. Yes, I that soundbite of Anella being like, I've done everything. I just need a win here to cement my whole win. And I was like, once again, where is this guy coming from? What does he think he's done? That one comp win is gonna do it. But I think that's because he thought that was the last comp. But why editors put it in, that's for us to freak out about right now.
I think that this is what's going to happen. Holy.
K Diggs, you really sent Chantele down a path. Let's get back to the tribal because this is about to get messy. Chappies leans to Nicole. And I'm thinking about voting out Anella. She's like, why? Well, because Anella can maybe win the challenge. I might not beat him. And she says something like, I think they're fairly equal. Tyson could easily win it, which is a great statement from Nicole. That's valid. Absolutely. Then he's like, Tyson, you want to come talk to me? He says to Tyson, I think I'm thinking about voting out Anella. Tyson says, let me think about it. So right now, in this moment, before the rest happens.
Thinking about it, Tyson. Like your neck is on the line. What do you have to think about it? Like just go with not you. Like what? What?
Isn't that what you just pitched, Tyson? Well, earlier in the day, whenever it was, Tyson, you said take out Anella. So if Chappie says, I'm thinking of taking out Anella, Tyson, you say, good call, buddy. Great idea. Loving it.
Because he could claim that as his move, being like, he could even be like, I convinced Chappies to do that earlier on in the day. Like, and then the opportunity arose and it was able to be executed. Like he could totally have taken it like that as his own move or at least facilitated it. I'm shocked that he didn't
shocked and confused because I'm like, where is his head right now? What does he not see what's happening? Does he not understand? Like, I'm confused. Then we do see Chappies say, okay, yeah, no, I've made my decision. He kind of leans into Nicole, like, I am gonna vote out Anella. And then he eventually is like, cool. And she's like, yes, agree. She says she'll do it in this moment. And is that it? Tyson doesn't get anything else here. Nicole agrees. We go to our votes. First off, no shocker, Warda, get the heck out of here. Your services are no longer needed.
Okay, if it wasn't Warda, because that's the only person I thought of, but who could have been maybe another person that he could have picked?
Well, they gave us like a close-up of Sean and Renier, and I was like, okay, yeah, maybe. But Warda, obviously.
Yeah, no, Warda's just, no, she's not, she dislikes Chappies too much. And but the only thing is that she also really dislikes Anella. So I was like, maybe like she would give Chappies the vote over Anella because she dislikes them both. But I was thinking, if it was the final three, I'm not sure. But Warda was really the only way to go.
Yeah, I mean, Sean and Renier are not like his biggest fans. He did not get along with them, and he could have taken them out. But Warda just made herself such a target. She was so outspoken in the tribals, and unnecessarily, I thought. They were like really feuding over the rice there those last tribals or so. So yeah, she's going. Bye-bye. Nico makes her leave immediately. I was like,
cold. I'm like, it's like raining. Like, just like,
I'm surprised she wasn't like she didn't throw a fit. I would have thrown a fit just for fun. Okay, guys, the votes now come in. We get a Tyson, we get a Nicole, and I'm like, well, this is not adding up already. We get an Anella. The next one is Tyson, and I'm like, what just happened?
Isn't this like it was like the dumbest thing I've ever seen, to be honest. I'm like, Tyson, like, this wasn't the move. Like, I don't understand because he says in his goodbye message or whatever, I don't know what to call anything anymore right now. He says in his afterthoughts that he misread the situation.
Yep.
But what did he misread? Did he misread that Anella was going to say that he was going to do Nicole and he would do Nicole? Like, then we didn't see that? Like, what did he misread?
Right. We need to know. We have got to find out because when we have Tyson is the one, he hugs Chappies, and Chappies said, I gave you a last chance, or I tried to give you a last chance, or something like that. And Tyson says, I checked. And I was like, checked? Like, checkmate? Like, is this a chess thing? I checked?
Oh, thought he was calling his bluff?
Yeah.
And maybe he thought that Chappies was... But no matter what, though, you kind of just have to go with what Chappies is saying here.
Right, and because you're the one being voted out.
If you're checking him to see if he's going to call, if you're calling his bluff, well, his bluff means that you'd be going home, so you might as well call it. Like, by doing what he is suggesting, you have to take that risk. And I just totally don't get the logic of why you would not do Anella. Like, you have to do Anella. You have to. Nicole was never part of the conversation. She was not what Chappies
she must have been. Doing. She must have been a part of a conversation with Anella. Anella, playing both sides, must have told Tyson at some point that he was going to vote out Nicole. So maybe Tyson, maybe.
This is romance.
This stuff. Is a speculation because we don't know. But maybe he thought he had that information. And so even if Chappies is changing his mind to vote to Anella, maybe Tyson didn't want to give Chappies what he wanted and thought, I'm sticking with the Anella, Nicole vote because that's what Anella and I are doing. In which case, would they have gone to fire? Is that what it is? I was thinking if it's 2-2, that they'd go to a revote, right? A tie, you revote, but you can only vote between those two. And if no one changed their vote, it would go to rocks, right? Isn't that how we do it in the US?
Well, okay. Oh, I guess, but I'm just thinking because it's always final for fire now that like that's what would happen.
That's true.
But I guess yeah, it would normally it would still be a revote then maybe and then fire because like okay, so if they went to rock, so final four, it would be Anella versus Tyson. Would it still be a deadlock? It would be a deadlock between Nicole and Chappies. And Nicole wouldn't want to be the one rock and rock her out. So would Nicole switch and just vote out Anella?
Right. I don't know. I mean,
Or
I
would it be
thought that
fire?
was a pretty bold move of her to be like, yeah, no, of course, and then stick with her vote. Good on her. She didn't need to do whatever Chappies tells her to do. But yeah, I don't know if it's tied to 2, then Chappies and Nicole really have to sit down and be like, I'm not budging. And maybe if Nicole flat out said I'm not budging, then Chappies would be like, all right, fine, we'll take Tyson out.
Well,
I don't care.
the thing is too though, this vote looks good for both Nicole and Anella because like Chappies didn't get what he wanted really. And so that was very obvious. Well, I mean, they'll explain it in the final segment, but Tyson goes home. Like, it looks very good to the jury, those two, I think.
Uh-oh. This is really paying into what you and Kay Diggs are building together. Sherry, this is a good question. I don't believe you have access to see the votes in the urn. They take them out immediately. There's a producer that goes like this.
Yeah.
So when you put yours in, yours is the only one. Otherwise, you'd have access to information that you can't have. Yeah. You're like, wait, do I have the most votes? Wait, what? I'm being voted out? What? Can't do that. Yeah, this was cluster F. I thought Tyson, I mean, good on you for being like, whoops, misread the situation. What are you going to do? But
no, I think he got duped by Anella. Now that I'm thinking about it, he got duped by Anella. He misread the situation because Anella gave him false information. And Anella,
Anella played him, and Anella's going to sit in the final 2 next to Nicole and pitch that he played Tyson. And oh my God, here we are.
I can't have this timeline. Can we change this world right now?
I really wasn't here at the start of this video, and now I'm here. But you guys, don't go there yet, okay? We have another episode. We have the finale. The last immunity challenge is the one where you just got to keep your hand on the gosh darn thing. Stand on your
out in the water? Is it in water? No? Okay.
Mm-mm. This one's not. These people don't want water. They're just like, please don't.
I want the waves crashing against them. I do. I love they had that in Australia. And it's just like, it was like they're out there for like 8 hours and they're just like the water is coming up and it's like, oh my God, they're going to be like flushed out into the ocean. They didn't, but it looked terribly tough.
Are you watching the current Australian? No, this is a different one. Mm-hmm. I know, me either. I got to catch up this fall once I have more time, but because I hear it's really, really good. But are all the Australians much more water oriented? I just imagine they would be.
Yes. Like there's actual challenges where who can tread water for the longest. I'm like, brutal. Like treading water for like 2 minutes sucks. Like it's so bad. I was playing like a live version of Survivor one weekend last summer. And like there was a challenge where you had to go out and you had to tread water while answering questions. And I was exhausted. I won it.
Wow.
But I was exhausted.
Yeah, you did. Oh, that's hard to do questions too. While you're like,
like just trying to get the questions done quickly because it's like, it was hard.
Even though I picture like all Australians to be really good in the water, I have to say there were this last season of Amazing Race Australia, there were a handful of teams that were not good in the water. And just like in this season, there were some really good water people who went out and had to like rescue some of the racers. So, I mean, I guess just, I grew up in Florida.
So you're good?
Surrounded by water. So I just assume everyone knows how to swim and is great in the water.
I have a different assumption. I did not grow up next to water like that in that same capacity. Like, don't go in Lake Ontario if you want to come out with both of your arms if you don't want an extra limb. But I had to take swimming lessons. Like, I was a lessons kid. I took every type of lesson. So I learned how to swim. I learned how to swim when I was younger, but I don't practice it that often. So I don't know how good I'd be like on like a swim up bar maybe on vacation. Like, can I get a margarita?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But like swimming or treading water, it's just like exhausting.
That's true. I can't tell you the last time I did like real swimming, but Chantele, that is how I got my SAG card. That is how I joined the Screen Actors Guild, is as Lana Paria's body double as her swimmer. I had to audition by swimming, and I did a lap or two across a pool as her character on a show called Boomtown. Oh my God, I'm dating myself a lot here. But
I kind of remember. I know who that person is though. So
it was early aughts. So yeah.
Speaking of swimming, my little sisters though, they live in Vegas, but they're super into swimming. And my youngest little sister, she's on like the Nevada Sandpiper swim team, whatever, for her whole life. And so she hurt her shoulder, but one of her friends, that part of her swim team, was in the Olympics this year. So a few people from her swim group has been at the Olympics this year. And one of her good friends, I think her name is Katie, I think got 4th place and 2nd place. Like, she actually did pretty well. And so my little sister's like, okay, like I need to do my physio, get back into shape. So like in a couple years I can get back there. Cause if she could do it, 100% I can. Like, I see pictures of them together, like training together for the last, 16 years or 14 years or something.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
That's impressive. Yeah. That's very cool. Yeah, I've gone SAG Wild. That's right.
Oh, SAG Wild.
What? All right. Well, don't get down, you guys. We have this whole next finale.
I'm nervous.
I think we can say Nicole's going to the final 2 though, right?
Nicole's going to the final 2, 100%.
Chappies wins, he's taking Nicole. Anella wins, he's taking Nicole. Nicole wins, she's taking Nicole. It's happening. That too. Yeah. Yep. So basically, Chappies has to
win again, a 6th.
Nobody's taking him.
Now, okay, just so I can maybe have a little bit of peace of mind, because I can't have my world be crashing down for the next week, like completely. But all the things I'm watching on reality TV is just like, So what if Nico was saying this about Chappies in order for him to actualize this, like, the world record? You know what I mean? Like, he was saying, like, do you want to beat the record or whatever it is and get that 6th win? Because that would be like to beat the record of 5, I guess is what it is. And so maybe he said that because it will happen, right? Like, leaving it in because it will, not that it won't. Because why are they giving him a chance to do it and say, like, you have a chance to do this now? If, like, wouldn't they just leave that out? I don't know. I'm trying here, Sarah.
Right. Yeah. No, I hear you. Look, if we talk about edit, like you're talking about how like these Anella points, like did they bring these up because Anella's going to be in the final? They have brought up so much about Chappie's food and eating around the camp and how that some people hate that and some people love it, that I feel like this is going to be a stickler on him in the finals.
In the jury, okay.
Right. Does this ruin his chances? He sits next to Anella and they all say, we hate that you stole food. We give it to Anella or Nicole or whatever. I feel like we've gotten so much about his eating food that it will be brought up in the finale. I could be wrong, but and honestly, don't trust the edit. That's right.
Well, it's hard to not trust the edit when you watch as many thousands of hours of television that we watch, and there's patterns that happen.
Right. I
So it's
know.
terrifying to recognize a pattern and not expect for it to go a certain way.
But I will say this South African version has confused me in the
Yeah,
past.
absolutely. 100%.
So
Because they were giving the Santini a specific kind of edit that we were like,
yeah.
oh, she could be getting to the end, like her and a
Mhm.
Nesu, maybe her Nesu Chappies. That could be something. Like that's kind of where my thoughts were heading. I definitely did not have those two Zamba people being in the final two in my thought process for
No, I've never pictured that happening. So we're gonna stick with that until we see what actually happens. And like you said, we can only deal with one thing at a time, and we might be losing one of the greatest Big Brother players of all time this week. So we're just going to focus on that until we watch the Survivor South Africa finale. We have loved the season, so I hope we feel that way after the finale.
I mean, the reason why yes, they both have played, they got to the end. So they've done a lot of things right. You know, they did
right.
When they chose to flip, they stuck their guns, you know, when they wanted to. Like, so it's not that they're not deserving of being in the final. Like, I don't want to take that away from them. But I just feel that Chappies has been working so hard for so long to get there that, like, for it to be ripped out from underneath him like this because it's a final two, and I don't know. Do I like a final two or final three? I don't even know what I like because it's unexpected. It bugs me that he didn't get to plan for that better, you know?
I kind of have hold a grudge against final two ever since Micronesia really basically took the win away from Suri, is how I feel about it. Because they went down to final two. So I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it, even though it makes sense logically. Two people sit in the end. Like, why not? But we've just seen how it. I think Kieran should have won this season. Yeah. But they smartly got him out. That was wise. I think Tyson would have been a good winner, but they wisely took him out. I think Chappies would be a great winner. And if they can get him out, like all of this stuff makes sense. This is how you play the game. So if it happens, they get props for that.
They do. Mm-hmm. But does it get the outwit, outplay, outlast? It's only outlast, really. Yeah, I don't think he outwitted them.
Yeah, say that. Call him up, Chantele. Be like, you outlasted. That was
That's it, okay? That's only outlast.
That's it. All right. Well, you guys, yes, they're playing veto right now, Shafika asked in the chat. But it will be
a long time. It's probably going to be separate, right? It's
BB Comics. So it's individual. So it will be another couple of hours before it comes back, probably.
What's our percentage of chance here for a girl? What do you think out of 100?
I think Hannah has a higher chance of winning this veto than Tiffany does.
It doesn't matter though, Hannah winning, because she's staying anyways.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if
but
Tiffany
I would.
Wins, she's the target. So
it doesn't really matter. But like, it would be. I would like for Ozzy to go up on the block though, just to see that. Like for whatever you're promising, like he doesn't care about you, and he's like to be making a final two with Kyland. Like he doesn't want you in this game. Keep your target on Kyland. Keep it there. Darn it, though. What, like, Ozzy, couldn't we just be counting on Ozzy here? Like, couldn't Ozzy...
I mean, hey, if Ozzy were to win this veto and she teams up with the ladies and they force something to happen here, that would be incredible. I'm just not going to get my
force Kyland to do the right thing for him, his success in the game. Force him. Put up
literally. It would be better for Kyland's game, yet he's choosing to do things that are not good for his game. That's on him. I'm sorry, buddy, but that's on you. Okay, well, we will know in a couple hours or so. Who is leaving, probably, is what we'll know by the time these veto results come in. Yep, send her all the vibes, y'all. There's no reason she can't win.
It's true. you know, I think that production knows how upset we'll probably get. I know they don't usually care, but it seems like they cared a little bit by changing that triple eviction, because that would have been just the worst timing for the triple eviction. So maybe they will be like, okay, let's make it something that Tiffany could win. Like same format, but maybe a little bit more friendly towards Tiffany's strengths. Maybe not Xavier's strengths, just not Xavier's strengths and Kylan's strengths. Just more towards Tiffany's strengths and Hannah's strengths.
I mean, I don't know that BB Comics is.
It's just whenever I see them swinging back and forth on that thing and climbing up and swinging, it's the exhaustion part that I'm always worried about.
Yeah. I don't know. I do not know. We have lost really good players early before, so it happens. Here we are. Okay, chat. Best of luck to everyone in your faves. Chantele, thank you for joining, of course.
Thanks for having me.
And if you guys haven't seen it yet, but Chantele is with me on Thursdays for The Circle. So episodes 1 and 2 recap is up already for that. And join us every Thursday for those first 2 episodes each week. And then, you know the drill. Follow Chantele.
Please.
Watch all of the shows.
Follow
me. Watch all of the shows. You get it. All right. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, you guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.